Yesterday, AMD held a private press announcement to reveal its plans for the upcoming Ryzen 7 launch, which will consist of 3 processors, each with 8 cores and 16 threads. This is reinforcing information that had been previously leaked by several outlets, along with 14 additional SKUs in the Ryzen launch. It appears that for now, though, AMD is sticking with the top-end parts with Ryzen 7, those being the 1800X, 1700X, and 1700. I guess we'll just have to wait a little bit longer until we have the full details on Ryzen 5 as well as Ryzen 3, the other 2 tiers that these CPUs have been codenamed under. We now know that these processors will officially release on March 2nd, and beginning today, February 22nd at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, they will be available for pre-order from all of your usual online retail outlets. Once those listings go up, I'll be sure to put them down in the description below over to Amazon and Newegg, wherever you can pre-order these processors from. Additional information from the press release, which I'll link down below, offers pricing for the 3 available Ryzen 7 SKUs. The 1800X will be the highest end part for $499 here in the United States, and it will compete directly with the $1,000 i7 6900K from Intel. The 1800X ships with a 3.6 GHz base clock and a 4 GHz boost clock. The 1700X will fall in behind that at $399 while clocking at 3.4 GHz and boosting to 3.8. The 1700X, along with the previously mentioned 1800X, will both sport a 95-watt TDP, while the lowest end 7 series CPU will only be 65 watts. The part consuming the lowest power will also have a base clock of 3 GHz, but does boost up to 3.7. That $329 1700 CPU will include a Wraithspire cooler from AMD, which is something not offered on the higher priced processors, the 1800X and the 1700X, because many enthusiasts out there will likely want to put those CPUs under some sort of liquid cooling in order to take advantage of the XFR, which is AMD's extended frequency range, which will offer automatic overclocking based on factors like the temperature of the CPU, not too dissimilar from something like GPU boost from NVIDIA, which will essentially give the user free performance if he or she cools the processor well enough without any additional intervention from the end user. This is probably one of the coolest features, no pun intended, on Ryzen that I'm personally excited to play around with and in different build scenarios and see what type of additional performance can be gained. And I am certainly planning to do builds surrounding this probably in the month of March, several builds possibly even, in fact, that I'm currently working now to try to get parts up and lined up for, so definitely stay tuned for those. Included in the press briefing were some synthetic benchmarks, which reiterated what we've seen in some other presentations, but it's just a bit more in detail. We got to see the 1800X winning by 9% in multi-threaded testing in Cinebench against the i7 6900K, which certainly is going to be a big deal for anyone that wants to leverage those cores. I know I certainly plan to utilize them for making faster renders on 4K video files. It's going to be a big help to me personally and any other video editors out there. Additionally, we get to see a tie when comparing single-threaded performance also in Cinebench. This is interesting because that is likely going to be the battleground where many games will be tested and show a true advantage to one side or the other. This is something that I certainly plan to test out, and I can tell you that I will be providing launch coverage on gaming performance as well as many other applications as well, so make sure you are subscribed for that launch day coverage. Unsurprisingly, the 1700 processor did beat out the i7 7700K by a considerable score of 1410 to 967, a margin of 46% when tested when using multi-threaded performance testing. We didn't get to see single-threaded scores here, although I predict this is an area the 7700K will certainly win if what we saw with the 6900K is anything to go by. At the end of the day, it appears that AMD is just taking a huge slice at several crucial areas that Intel has been dominating in recent years, and if anything, it's sure to shake up the market and drive Intel to reduce its prices, innovate, or a combination of the two, something it seems AMD has been focusing on over the past few years, and Ryzen is the result of that. Personally, I can't wait to get these processors in a few systems and start testing games for you guys. I think streaming is going to be another big area that people will look to. More and more people are looking to stream games, and having one system capable of doing all of that just in, basically in one system without the need of an additional streaming system. It kind of removes the headache of needing a secondary system there. So having all of that and, adding the single-threaded performance comparable to Intel's X99 parts at half the price, and it just gives the consumer more options, and that's what we've been waiting for. It's nice to see that it's finally here. But I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, guys. Once again, links to our sources for the video from AMD and the official press release will be linked down below in the description, along with links to pre-order Ryzen. And while you're down there, don't forget to leave us a like if you enjoyed the video, and consider subscribing if you're not already. I'll catch you guys next time. Ta-ra.